Life has a way of testing us when we least expect it. One day everything seems stable. The next, a problem appears, a relationship falls apart, a career takes an unexpected turn. A dream begins to crumble. A loss arrives without warning, and suddenly, the calm waters of life become a storm. In moments like these, most people ask the same question: why is this happening to me? But there is another question, a far more powerful question. How do I remain calm when life gets hard? Because difficulty is not something that happens to a few unfortunate people. It is part of being human. No one escapes challenges. No one escapes uncertainty. No one escapes pain. The difference lies not in who faces hardship. The difference lies in how they respond to it. Imagine two people standing in the middle of a storm. Both face the same wind, the same rain, the same darkness. Yet one person panics while the other remains steady. What creates that difference? It is not luck, it is not intelligence, and it is not the absence of fear. It is perspective, the ability to see hardship differently. The ancient Stoics understood this better than almost anyone. They believed that suffering is often amplified, not by events themselves, but by our interpretation of those events. Think about that carefully. Two people can experience the exact same situation. One sees disaster, the other sees a challenge. One sees the end, the other sees a beginning. The event remains the same. The interpretation changes everything. This doesn't mean pain isn't real. It doesn't mean hardship should be ignored. It simply means that our minds possess more power than we often realize. One of the greatest causes of anxiety is the desire to control things we cannot control. People want certainty. They want guarantees. They want life to unfold exactly according to plan. But reality rarely cooperates. The weather changes, people change, circumstances change, and when we try to control what cannot be controlled, frustration becomes inevitable. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the more slips through your fingers. Life often works the same way. The harder we cling to certainty, the more anxiety we create. Calmness begins when we accept a simple truth. There are things within our control, and there are things outside it. Your effort is within your control. Your attitude is within your control. Your decisions are within your control. Other people's opinions are not. The past is not. Many future events are not. When life becomes difficult, mentally separating these categories can be life-changing. Ask yourself, what can I control right now? Then focus your energy there. This simple shift transforms helplessness into action. Another reason people lose their calm is because they confuse temporary situations with permanent realities. A difficult week feels like a difficult life. A failure feels like permanent defeat. A setback feels like the end of the story. But life is constantly changing. Storms pass, circumstances evolve, people heal, opportunities emerge. The problem is that when we're suffering, our vision narrows. We become trapped inside the present moment. And the present moment begins feeling eternal. Yet history tells a different story. Think about the hardest period of your life. A challenge you once believed you could never overcome. You survived it. Perhaps you even grew because of it. At the time, that growth seemed impossible, but looking back, you can see the full picture. The lesson here is simple. Do not judge your entire future based on your current chapter. Life is bigger than this moment. Another powerful way to remain calm is to stop demanding fairness from reality. This may sound strange. After all, everyone wants life to be fair. But the expectation of fairness often creates unnecessary suffering. People ask, "Why did this happen to me? I don't deserve this. This isn't fair." Perhaps it isn't, but reality has never promised fairness. Challenges do not arrive according to merit. Difficulties do not ask permission. Hardship is part of the human experience. Once we stop expecting life to be fair, we become better prepared for its inevitable challenges. And preparation creates resilience. A tree growing in perfect conditions may appear strong, but a tree that survives storms develops deeper roots. Human beings are no different. The challenges we face often become the source of our strength. This brings us to an important truth. Calmness is not the absence of emotion. Many people imagine calm individuals never feel fear, never feel sadness, never feel stress. That is not true. Calm people experience the same emotions as everyone else. The difference is that they do not allow emotions to control their actions. Imagine being on a ship during rough seas. The waves may be powerful, but the captain remains focused. He acknowledges the storm. He respects its power, but he continues steering the ship. That is emotional maturity. Not denying emotions, not suppressing emotions, but refusing to become their prisoner. One of the most effective habits for developing calmness is learning to pause. When something upsetting happens, most people react immediately. An argument begins, a message arrives, a problem appears, and they instantly respond emotionally. But between stimulus and response lies a powerful space, a pause, and within that pause exists freedom. The freedom to choose your response, the freedom to think before acting, the freedom to prevent temporary emotions from creating permanent consequences. A calm life is often built from these small pauses. Another hidden source of peace comes from accepting uncertainty. This is difficult because the human mind craves predictability. We want to know how everything will turn out, but uncertainty is not the enemy. It is part of life. Every meaningful opportunity contains uncertainty. Every relationship contains uncertainty. Every dream contains uncertainty. Waiting for certainty often means waiting forever. The strongest people learn to move forward despite uncertainty, not because they have all the answers, but because they trust themselves to handle whatever comes next. This trust is incredibly important. Many people fear the future because they doubt their ability to cope. They ask, "What if something goes wrong?" A better question is, "What if I can handle it?" Look back at your life. You have already survived countless challenges, difficult conversations, unexpected setbacks, moments of pain, moments of fear, and yet here you are. That history matters. It is evidence of your resilience. You are stronger than your fears often suggest. Another lesson worth remembering is that not every problem deserves your emotional energy. Some people spend their lives worrying about things that never happen. They suffer through imagined futures. They replay old mistakes. They obsess over possibilities. The result is unnecessary suffering. A useful question to ask yourself is, will this matter in a year? Many things that feel overwhelming today will barely be remembered tomorrow. Perspective shrinks problems. Distance reveals what truly matters. This doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities. It means refusing to magnify problems beyond their actual size. Sometimes calmness comes not from solving a problem, but from changing how you view it. There is a story about a farmer whose horse ran away. The neighbors said, "What terrible luck!" The farmer replied, "Maybe." A few days later, the horse returned with several wild horses. The neighbors said, "What wonderful luck!" The farmer replied, "Maybe." Soon after, The farmer's son was injured while training one of the horses. Again, the neighbors reacted. Again, the farmer replied, "Maybe." The story continues, and its lesson is profound. Many events are neither good nor bad in themselves. Their meaning unfolds over time. What seems like a disaster today may become a blessing tomorrow, and what appears fortunate today may create future difficulties. This perspective encourages patience. Not every event should be judged immediately. Some chapters only make sense later. When life becomes difficult, remember that your mind is constantly telling stories. Stories about the future, stories about failure, stories about what might happen. But stories are not always reality. The mind is an incredible tool, yet it can also become a source of unnecessary suffering. Learning to question fearful thoughts is essential. Ask, is this definitely true? Am I assuming the worst? What evidence supports this belief? These questions create distance between you and your fears, and distance often reduces their power. Perhaps the most important lesson of all is this: hardship is not proof that life is against you. It is proof that you are alive. Every person you admire has faced adversity. Every strong individual has endured difficult seasons. Every resilient soul has been tested. Strength is not developed during easy times. It is forged through struggle. The person you become during hardship may ultimately matter more than the hardship itself, because circumstances eventually change, but character remains. Years from now, you may not remember every detail of the challenges you're facing today, but you will remember who you became while facing them, the patience you developed, the courage you discovered, the wisdom you gained, the resilience you built. So when life becomes difficult, remember this: you do not need to control everything. You do not need to know every answer. You do not need to eliminate every fear. You simply need to take the next step, then the next, then the next. Calmness is not found by escaping life's storms. It is found by learning how to walk through them. And every challenge you overcome becomes evidence that you can handle the next one. The storm will pass, the difficulty will change, the chapter will end, and when it does, you'll discover something remarkable. You were stronger than you thought. Until next time, stay thoughtful.